Good day, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Patrick J. McGlynn, and I am a second-year graduate student here at Governor State University, and I'm working on my master's in actuarial mathematics. Today, we are going to discover tips and tricks on how to take tests a whole lot better and hopefully achieve a better grade. So here we go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, on the morning of the big test, as you can hear the reveille, we want you to start your day as normal, as you always do. Routine is really huge, especially when you are stressed out and having test anxiety. And it's also recommended that you eat a very good breakfast. Now, what is a good breakfast? Well, let me explain to you what is not a good breakfast. Not a good breakfast is just grabbing a donut and maybe a coffee about this big at Starbucks. That would not do. The reason why you need a good breakfast is because you want your blood sugar to stay up while you're taking the test, and you don't want to have your blood sugar crash as you are taking the test, and that would be a very bad thing. And it also helps to think about what you'll do to relax after you get home from school. And please, remember, think positively. Now we're going to talk about some of the questions you'll see on the test, and the first one we're going to start off with is multiple choice. Now, if you don't understand the directions, please ask for help. There is no harm and there is no shame in asking for help. That's why the proctor or the lecturer or professor is there to answer any questions you might have. So please, if you don't understand the questions, go up there and ask the professor, so that way you can get a better grade on your test. And please, 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 read the question and all. Notice how I have all in red, all answer choices before marking anything. That way you'll be better prepared and make the best choice for your question in the multiple choice. Now you need to pace yourself. So what's happening here with your test is you have so many questions and you have so much time, and time is your enemy. So you're going to be under the gun. Your test anxiety is right on the ceiling right about now because you're so amped up. Now, I don't want you to spend too much time on any one question. If a question is puzzling or mystifying or you have no clue, go ahead and circle the number of the question if you can, so you can come back to it later and do your best and then move on. It's best to answer the easiest questions first. That'll do two things. That'll, number one, build your confidence up, and number two, it'll help make the test go a whole lot faster so that towards the end you can go back and recheck. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Because you don't want to skip any questions at all on the test, because a question that is skipped, you would get a 0 for that question, and we don't want that. All right, some more on the multiple choice questions, and this is extremely important. If you don't remember anything about this presentation today, please remember this. Do not change your initial answers unless you're very uncertain about your first answer choice. So basically what that means is unless you have concrete proof in front of you that you've made the wrong choice, please keep your answer. And the reason why I say that is because scientists did a study, and believe it or not, they found out that your first instinct, your gut instinct, is 95 to 96% correct. So please don't change your answer again, like I said, until you find proof that you have. Otherwise, just please leave it. Now try to answer every question you can and make the most intelligent guess you can. Now, there were some tests that I've taken before where I've eliminated some of the choices, and we'll talk about elimination in a minute. And two choices that were remaining were really good answers. Just go with your gut instinct and all the knowledge and everything you learned in the class, and please just make the best guess that you can. All right, the process of elimination. Just exactly what is the process of elimination, and I have an example here, so I'll show you just exactly what it is. process of elimination is looking at the multiple choice questions and looking at the answers and knowing that any of the answers are just not right at all. So you can just eliminate them right away. And if you can eliminate 2 wrong answers on 4 answers that are multiple choice, you've actually just doubled your chance of of choosing the correct answer, excuse me. So here's an example of elimination. See, I know C isn't the answer. So here's an example of elimination. So we have 2 plus 2 equals A, 3, B, 4, C, blue, or D, red. Now, I hope you can see we can eliminate blue and we can eliminate red. And I hope your math is good today, and the answer would have been 4. All right, you need to skip, return, and check. A little bit ago I had mentioned that time is your enemy, so you have to skip the questions that you don't remember or don't know anything about, go through and return, and you need to check to make sure that you've answered all your questions, because again, an unanswered question is a 0. Now, there'll be some key words or phrases in the questions that will help you to choose the correct answer. I'll give you a couple examples. Which of the following except, and you would be surprised how many people just see which of the following and they don't see the word except. So if you see the word except, then go ahead and circle it so that's a reminder to you that you don't want to pick one of the following, you want to do completely the opposite. Another one is all or every. Be careful of these words. If there's a word that you're not sure about, again, you can go up to the instructor and ask them just exactly what the definition of the word is, because maybe you don't know what it is.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Okay, so what are we communicating about? We're communicating between you and your test. So again, you have to make sure that you understand what the question is asking, because simply if you don't understand what the question is asking you, you simply can't answer it. So again, get the instructor involved, and he might rephrase the question, and by doing that, maybe a light bulb will come on and you'll understand just exactly what you need to do. And this means read the directions. You'd be surprised how many people who are so filled with test anxiety just plow right into the test and don't read the directions. Now, make sure that you're responding to the questions being asked. There were some tests that I've taken before where you had the multiple choice and it seemed a little confusing. Do I circle the answer to the multiple choice? Over on the right margin was a space. Am I supposed to write the answer over there? Am I supposed to do both? So you really have to talk to the professor and read the directions. And again, if you don't understand, just go ahead and ask the professor. Now, you'll come upon some reading passages in some of your tests, and they'll have questions that you want to answer from the paragraph. So we're going to do something a little bit different here. Instead of reading the paragraph first, we are going to read the questions first. And the reason why I say that is because you really need to know what the questions are going to ask first, so you can have some idea of what it is that you're reading, so that when you read the reading passage second, you'll know what to look for because you've read the questions first. And by doing this, you'll not only build up your confidence, but it'll actually go faster on the test. And there are several questions sometimes about a reading passage or a chart, and you can look for clues in the questions that ask, because they kind of hone in or focus on a certain area to help you understand just exactly what those questions are asking. Now, when it comes to math, make sure you have on your scratch paper that you've copied the number down correctly. That is most important. Let me give you a good example. If the number is 473, make sure you write 473 down on your paper. I have mistakenly written 437 and thinking it was 473, and not even realizing it, and right away I'm starting off on the wrong foot, and I'm getting the question wrong already. Here's an example of what not to do. You're adding. You can see that the 434 hopefully is way out of line, so I know you're in a hurry, I know you're filled with test anxiety. We're trying to bring that down, but please don't write numbers like this and try to add them up. It simply won't work. And if your answer doesn't match one of the choices, please go back, reread the problem, recopy the numbers, and try solving it again. I mean, does the answer make sense? For example, if you're trying to figure out the miles per gallon on a car and you answer 720 miles per gallon, I hope you can see that that really doesn't make much sense. So go back a second time. Please take your time. Maybe you just hit the wrong button on the calculator. I mean, who hasn't done that, right? So again, reread the problem, recopy the numbers, and try solving it again. If you don't feel like doing it at the time because you're frustrated, just go ahead and circle the number and come back to it a little bit later, okay? Again, it's a matter of time. So if you finish the test early, spend it on the time of the questions that you haven't answered, or if you have answered them all, make sure you go through and you check the answers again. And now, depending upon the test, there may be some questions there that you may know something about, or you may not know very much about. And please, again, as you go back through, do not change all your answers. I've heard stories where people have done that, and I don't know why. They just have. So again, unless you have absolute proof, do not change your answers. You will get a better score. And please remember, your first guess is usually right. Now, there's something called the death grip. And that's where people are so filled with anxiety, they take it out on their poor little pencil. And they grip it so hard, their forearm and their fingers start to cramp up. And if that's ever happened to you, it's not a pleasant thing, believe me. So just release the grip on the pencil and do some quiet little finger exercises and try to be as relaxed as you can while you're doing your exercises, because you certainly don't want to disturb anyone else. You don't want to jump out of your chair and do jumping jacks, because a professor might come over and give a talking to you, and he might even give you a 0 for the exam. We don't want that.
Thank you, Mr. Know-it-all.
So just remember, it's okay not to know everything. Unlike the class tests, these tests were designed to challenge the limits of your knowledge at this grade level, at above your current grade, and depending upon the professor, sometimes they will go through chapters 1 through 3, and you can actually ask them, you know, what is the test going to be on, and they will tell you. Some tell you specifically, and some tell you generally, but you can ask them, and they really want you to succeed. I mean, seriously, they really want you to ace the test, believe it or not. They're in your corner, they want to help you. So I certainly hope that all these tips and tricks have helped you. Maybe you've learned a thing or two, and I appreciate your time and your energy, and thank you.